Hi kids, and welcome to Issues and Ideas here on UWW-TV. I'm your host, CJ Van Aken, and for the first and only time this semester, we have a student guest, Sydney Fremstad. Great to have you here today. I know your major is in psychology. Could you tell us a little bit more about what you do here on campus?
Yeah, so I am a research assistant for the psychology department. Basically what that means is I assist a professor in the research that she's doing. Right now we're doing research with students with autism and kind of how teachers may have different views on them compared to other students that they have in their classes.
Cool. With us heading into finals week pretty soon, do you have any suggestions for students on how or what they could do to succeed?
Yeah, so I think for stress management, I always suggest exercise. It releases endorphins, which is the chemical in your brain that helps cope with stress. So it doesn't have to be anything crazy, just like going for a walk for a little bit could be helpful. And then other things, making sure you're getting enough sleep, eating the right foods, like your brain can't function if it's starving and you haven't slept. And then for studying, I would suggest breaking up all your studying into chunks rather than trying to study for like 4 hours on end or pull an all-nighter, which is probably the worst thing you could do. So yeah, just study for like maybe an hour and then take a 20-minute break, go for a walk, watch Netflix, do whatever. And then another thing for studying is I would start earlier rather than later. I think going like slow and steady first and starting earlier is better than starting later and rushing it all, because then you're not going to remember anything that you're studying. So those are my tips.
Thanks, great tips. I want to know what you enjoy most about the field of psychology.
Okay, I think a lot of people, when they think of psychology, it's just like feelings and seeing a therapist. But what I've enjoyed learning about the most is like the brain structures and functions, which I think is something that like people don't really know that we learn about that kinds of things. And learning, I really have enjoyed learning about learning and how people learn and how, you know, it might be better to learn this way rather than this way. I think that's really interesting.
Okay, interesting. I used to be an education major way back in the days of old.
Yeah.
So it was kind of important to understand how kids and students would be able to learn certain things and remember certain things.
Yes.
I also would like to ask, since May is Mental Health Awareness Month, are there any tips or anything you can give to people to kind of just like, I don't know, be aware of their mental health during this time?
Yeah, I think obviously we know ourselves the best. If you think that, you know, the stress is just something you can't handle, there are a lot of services available here on campus. You can go to the UHCS, you can go to Winthrop Counseling. It's free for everyone to use, so that's really nice. And I think, I guess, do you want like symptoms or something?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay,
yeah,
so I guess,
whatever.
like obviously, stress, you know, you have the stress, you have like, if you just don't really have like an appetite, maybe you have trouble sleeping, things like that, then maybe you don't even have to talk to a professional, just talk to like a friend. Yeah, just say what's on your mind. If you can find someone that will listen to you, great.
Great. Do you do anything yourself to keep yourself from being stressed out for finals?
Yes, I do. So I exercise. I try to go most weekdays. I try and get enough sleep because I feel like if I don't, I'm just like really foggy and I feel like I can't do my best work, which makes me more stressed.
Yeah.
And then also like social support. I talk to my family, I talk to my friends all the time about what's going on in my life. So I feel like getting those connections really helps me.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break, and then afterwards we're going to kind of yap some more about our lovely psych field. Stay tuned.
The UW Whitewater Bookstore is your one-stop shop for apparel, textbooks, and technology. Stop in for a wide selection of gifts from our alumni, family, and name brand sections. Need to purchase or rent a textbook? Head downstairs to Textbook Services. Check out our new custom shop and create personalized apparel for your organization. Need a charger, laptop, or headphones? Our new technology section has everything you might need. For more information and bookstore hours, visit uwwhitewaterbookstore.com.
Welcome back. I'm glad we got to talk about those topics before. However, there is one specific one that I think everyone at UWTV and the radio station and probably the whole campus and as a whole, really, we want to know about burnout and ways that we can kind of reduce it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I think at this point in the semester, everyone's really susceptible to burnout. There's a lot of stress and a lot of pressure that comes with finals, and you have a final for every class and professors are assigning more work to you. So you just have a lot going on, and I think one of the biggest ways to decrease your risk for burnout is social support. I've actually done a little bit of research for burnout in my psychology classes before, and it's been really interesting. And one of the overwhelming factors that everyone brings up is social support. This can really be anyone. It can be family, friends, professors, coworkers, whoever. If you just need to talk about, hey, this class has been really hard, blah, blah, blah. And then again, there's the services that we have on campus. There's the UHCS, there's the Winter Counseling Services, but it doesn't have to be a professional. It can just be anyone. And then another tip I have for burnout would just be to do something fun. I think a lot of students at this time, they're like, oh, I really need to crack down and start studying and do all my work.
But I want a sweet treat.
Yeah. Just go out, have a little bit of fun. Obviously not too much fun. Keep it in moderation, but
have the goal of studying in mind.
Yeah.
But also enjoy yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. I also have, just more personally, what are your plans after college? Are they focused around psychology as a whole, or?
Yes. So for most psychology majors, we do have to go to grad school. I want to go to grad school for school psychology, so with the goal of being a school psychologist. So do you kind of know what that is, or should I?
I do. If you want to explain more about what you'd be doing in a school psych environment, you can, if you want.
Sure, I can do that. So it's really different, depending on what district you go to. But overall, you do a lot of academic or emotional testing for IEPs, 504s, any of that. And it doesn't just have to be for that. It can be a simple intervention. Yeah. And you also do emotional check-ins. You deal with maybe any emotional problems that are going on within the school. You implement a lot of policies and programs school-wide that would benefit all of the kids. Yeah.
So it would be mainly focused towards, I'm assuming, elementary or high school versus university level
yes.
counseling. Okay, that makes sense. I was going to say, you did mention like IEPs and 504s, and those are normally used for kind of the younger kids, but here on campus, like, we have the Center for Students with Disabilities, and they basically are doing the same thing, but for us adults. So.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you going to be participating in our really cool grad program that we have here on campus?
Possibly. I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And then, do you have any other plans, like, for the future? Like, besides, are you planning on, like, going out of state if you wanted to do a grad program, or?
Honestly, no. I'm really boring.
You just want to stay here,
yes,
is what
I
you're
do.
saying? Okay.
Well, I have family here, and I'm like, I feel like it'd be really hard for me to like go far away.
No,
so
I get it. Totally
I'm gonna
fine.
stay in Wisconsin.
Okay, sounds fine. I appreciate having you on the show. Thank you for being, as I said in our intro, the first and only student guest that we've had this whole
Yes.
semester. It was really great to talk with you today and to learn about psychology as a whole for you, and as well as your future.
Yes.
And hopefully you'll be staying with us here on campus.
Yes.
So thank you for turning in this semester. It's been an interesting time as a host with this show. I'm CJ Van Aken for UWW TV.